Billionaire scoffed at the boy's gift until it saved his life. As it climbed to the 200th floor of the Vertigon Tower, the magnificent glass elevator gave passengers stunning views of the city below, which seemed like a shimmering circuitry grid. Elias Thorne, a billionaire computer mogul and the man who built this spire, was chilly and rude within the edifice. Leo, who was 12 years old and carrying a canvas backpack that had seen better days, seemed little compared to him. But Leo was neither a genius or a relative. Thorne Industries sponsored the annual Bright Spark charity visit, which was a public relations exercise that Thorne barely put up with. "Remember, young man," Thorne said in a flat, cold voice, "once every 5 minutes, you need a picture and a handshake. Don't get in touch with me again. My time is worth more than the money you will earn in 10 lifetimes." Leo's eyes widened as he gasped, but not out of surprise. He was calm and passionate. He had made the winning entry, which was a solar-powered water purifier made from garbage that could be used in areas that had been hit by earthquakes. Thorne's engineers had praised how well and efficiently it worked. Thorne only noticed unclean hands around him when he was alone in his fitted suit. They got to the penthouse airy, which was a big, simple room with cool marble floors, hand-picked art worth millions of dollars, and walls that were actually seamless. Climate-controlled screens were now showing a calm, alien nebula. Thorne walked ahead as he got closer to his floating desk, which was made from a single piece of meteorite. Leo's worn sneakers stayed silent on the floor as he walked behind him, which was surprisingly smooth. Thorne, who was already using a holographic display and without looking around, said, "Which is?" "Your moment, as decided by public relations." Leo took a big breath for a time. When he opened his backpack, he didn't bring out plans or a model. Instead, he took out a little, unremarkable object that was wrapped in old blue tissue paper. He didn't touch it. Thorne finally took a short look across, his lips quivering. "Is this what it is? The weight of the paper?" He didn't try to take it at all. Leo kept his cool even though the billionaire was looking at him. He said, "It's... Mr. Thorne, it's for you. I found it. I thought it should go here, in the company of all the other important rocks." He made a vague gesture toward the meteorite desk. Thorne's laugh was loud and cold. "Is it a stone? Did you travel to the top of the world's most advanced skyscraper to give me a stone?" He took it out of Leo's hand with 2 fingers and a look of contempt. It was a piece of rough, milky quartz, approximately the size of a hand. It had veins of smoky gray running through it, and a single surprising thread of deep azure blue. It was heavier than I thought it would be and felt frigid, not very interesting and simple. Leo quickly offered the answer. "It's piezoelectric quartz. From an abandoned mine near where I live today, as soon as pressure." "What is a piezo?" Thorne waved the stone in his palm to cut him off. "Words that don't mean anything. Is it a source of dust? It's very charming." With a contemptuous click, he put the crystal on the desk made of meteorite. After rolling a little, it stopped against a sleek black data drive. "You are a meaningless mass, like sentimentality does. You have run out of time." He nodded a bit toward the elevator, but his attention was already drawn to the holographic stock tickers that were whirling in front of him. "Security will make sure you are safe." Leo's shoulders drooped, but he didn't argue with what was said. There was a brief flash of something in his eyes that he couldn't understand. It may have been disappointment, or maybe resignation. He just looked at the quartz for a time. He hastily unzipped his backpack and followed the security guard outside, where he stood in utter stillness. The quartz sat on Thorne's desk for a few weeks. There were cleaning drones flying over it, and their sensors were confused for a moment by how strange it was before they flew away. Thorne didn't even detect a little flaw in his sterile perfection. He added a little out-of-tune note from the commonplace to his symphony of the extraordinary, and it finally became part of the background. At the 6-week point, Thorne was alone, strolling around in front of a huge screen that was showing an extremely intricate chemical simulation for his new bio-neural interface gadget. The project was billions of dollars over budget and several months behind schedule. The air was thick with anger, like ozone before a storm, and it crackled. He suddenly grasped his chest and felt a sharp agony that stole his breath away. He let go of the tension by straightening up. He wanted to drink some of the glacier water that is so rare in Iceland. At that moment, it hit him like a blow in the gut. A heavy weight that hit his sternum produced the excruciating pain that spread down his left arm. His vision became blurry. The crystal glass slipped from his fingers and broke on the meteorite floor, which was just how he felt when the glass broke in his chest. He gasped in a terrible animalistic sound, and then he fell hard against the white marble. There has been a heart attack. His own AI, Aeon, detected right away that his vitals had dropped to a dangerous level, following the emergency protocols. The sirens shouted, making the individuals in the penthouse deaf but not the rest of the world. The doors with extra security were locked. The medical drone, which was thin and looked like a spider, was released from a wall panel and started to set up its sensors and injectors. Aeon's synthetic voice, which is usually calm, now sounded more frantic. Elias Thorne, a critical cardiac event has been identified. An emergency stimulant is being given. Defibrillation is needed right away. Step back. The pads for the drone were put in a certain area. There was a high-pitched whine that started. The zap. Thorne's body had a really bad seizure. You could observe random flashing on the screens. A look at Aeon. There is no recurrence of a single sinus beat. The second charge is being given. The zap. Another jerk who was cruel. Thorne's corpse was discovered lying on the ground, and his expensive silk shirt was soaked with sweat and spilled water. The nebula projection on the walls appeared to pulse in a mocking way. Aeon said that the second try at defibrillation didn't work. There is a third charge in the works. The chances of accomplishing one's ambitions are slowly becoming lower. After being recalibrated, the drone's pads started to buzz with a deadly intensity. While it was getting set to give the third and perhaps final shock, something strange happened. The milky quartz on the desk began to make a faint, high-pitched whine of its own if Thorne fell or the drone moved. Aeon's sirens were so loud that this whining was hard to hear. It made the black data disk shake a bit. After that, a bright blue and crackling arc of static charge could be seen coming out of the cobalt vein in the quartz. But it didn't bother Thorne. It hit the medical drone's central processing unit just before it was about to discharge. The FCZZ. Crack! During the violent spasm, the drone's third defibrillation pulse went off in a crazy way, making it grind itself through its own chassis in a shower of sparks. It plummeted to the ground with a loud thud. There isn't any noise, a terrible loss of sound. Thorne didn't move while he lay there. Aeon looked at some data after the terrible failure. The defibrillator unit couldn't be trusted. After trying all emergency methods, we had to wait for help from outside sources because of the security lockdown, the computation of the time until death. But it turned out that the crazy pulse wasn't just interference. Leo's quartz had unique piezoelectric properties that made it act in strange ways. These were made worse by the malfunctioning defibrillator, strong electromagnetic fields, and its closeness to the data drive, which caused localized interference. It hadn't given a shock. Instead, it had created a huge electromagnetic pulse, EMP, that was limited to a small area and had not just destroyed the drone. It rebooted Thorne's personal network hub, which is, as a secret device, controls everything from Aeon to the temperature control and is located directly under the meteorite desk. The whole level was completely dark for the 3 full seconds it took for the systems to restart. Something else took place in that instantaneous and deep darkness, which was deprived of the incessant buzz of servers and the light of displays. The rapid stop of overwhelming sensory input, as well as the microsecond power interruption to the biomonitors that Thorne wore beneath his shirt, worked as a shock to his nervous system. There was no typical defibrillation procedure involved. It was a drastic reboot that affected the whole system, and it was started by the chaotic EMP. Thorne's body jerked, but not because of an outside shock. It was because of an internal surge. The electromagnetic pulse, EMP, interacted with his body's weak bioelectric field, sending a strange and resonant stimulation to his heart, which stopped and started fibrillating. It wasn't medicine, it was the chaotic intervention of natural physics. He took a tight, sucking breath that echoed in the sudden silence. Then someone else. His eyes sprung open as the emergency lights started to flicker back on, and he looked blankly at the fading after-images of the nebula projection. Aeon's voice, which was becoming calmer, continued. "Vitals are getting more stable." The sinus's rhythm was brought back. "Emergency services are on their way immediately." An electromagnetic surge caused the defibrillator to stop working, but no one knows why. There is a strange and localized source. Thorne was paralyzed and lying on the icy floor. His mouth was full of blood and panic, and his nose was full of the strong smell of ozone and burned circuitry. His gaze, which was hazy and confused, moved around the room. When it landed, it was on the milky quartz. In the middle of the confusion, it had slipped off the desk and was now lying next to his broken diamond cufflink, glimmering slightly in the dim emergency light. The vein of cobalt seemed to be deeper, even more dazzling. At that moment, the memory of Leo's honest face hit him hard. Piezoelectric quartz. When there is pressure. He had never laughed at a rock before. When he saw a resonator, he laughed it off. It was just a piece of the planet that could interact violently with the artificial energy fields that surrounded him. One of the possible Leos had, in his simple way, felt or understood something. When the paramedics found him, he was still alive and holding the quartz in his hand. The rough surface of the stone pushed into his palm, which helped him stay grounded in reality. Later tests showed that the misfired drone shock should have been useless, and maybe even dangerous. The EMP should have been disruptive instead of restorative. However, the strange interaction of energies that was focused on that simple stone created a strange resonance that could save lives. There was a delayed recovery. Thorne, who owned satellites, found himself obsessively studying the quartz. He had his best physicists look at it. The results were strange. Its piezoelectric constant was very high, and the cobalt inclusion created a unique structure that looked like a small antenna. In some chaotic electromagnetic EM environments, like those created by a malfunctioning defibrillator near a high-power data hub, it could act as an unexpected transducer and emitter. Thorne was not in his penthouse after a few months. Instead, he was in the crowded community center of Leo's neighborhood on a cold morning. He was not surrounded by screens, but by kids who were interested and adults who were suspicious. Leo was found to be working with a drone motor that had been salvaged. Thorne didn't provide the money. He held out the crystal. His voice was rough when he said, "You tried to tell me," since he wasn't used to being modest. He was talking about the pressure and what it might do. Leo looked at him first, then at the stone, his eyes both inquisitive and sharp. He said simply, "It just sang when things got loud." Thorne nodded to show he understood. "The only song that could reach me was the one it sang." He then gave the crystal back to Leo. "Teach me," he said, pointing not only to the quartz, but also to the bustling center and the kids who were building things out of old objects. "Please help me learn how to hear the songs that are right in front of me," she asked. A rock saved the life of the billionaire who scoffed at a boy's gift, and it also saved his own life. The incident changed the way he saw the world forever, and while the quiet sound went on, he didn't build a taller skyscraper. Instead, he built a deeper understanding of the connection. His schooling taught him that sometimes the most advanced technology is only a rock that was given to him without any warning. Inside, it was the chaotic and life-saving music of the real world. Leo didn't give him piezoelectric quartz. He gave him a key to a new kind of power, the power of unassuming potential that was waiting for the appropriate moment and pressure to sing.